Plaid Enterprises Incorporated. Our quality paints, stencils, and other tools will make your next project so beautiful, so easy, so Plaid.
Hi, I'm Donna Dewberry. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to teach you how to paint with a really exciting paint that I am so happy to have. And it's a glass paint that you're going to love because when you paint with it, it's opaque. And it looks just like we painted with FolkArt paint. And using my one-stroke technique, you're going to find out that you can paint very quick something you never imagined you could paint. And glass is so popular, it's so fun, and it's not just clear glass, it's ceramics too. So what I want to show you before we get started is my new brushes that we're going to use with this paint. And these brushes are they're softer bristles, and I've got them white here so you can see. They're softer bristles. We have flat brushes, we have script liners, and we have our scruffy brush. Now the liners are long and skinny. It's synthetic nylon bristles so that we can work and do all of our strokes just like we've done any other one stroke. And if you haven't done one stroke, I'm going to teach you how to do that today, okay? This is the only brush, the script liner, that we might use water with. And we take and we work with up at the top, we work with the tip of the bristles, and all the paint flows down to that tip. So we like longer bristles so that we can get the paint to work well with that. The flat bristles, we're going to take and dampen those first, and we're going to put it on a paper towel to take off the moisture, and then we're going to load it with our paint, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Scruffy brush, we're going to take and never use this brush wet, okay? We're going to fluff it when we pull it out of the package and we're ready to go with it. And we're going to pounce this into our paint and then pounce it right onto our surface. But all these brushes are made with softer bristles. So what you're not going to see when you're on non-porous surfaces, you won't see so many streaks like some of the other brushes might give it, all right? So are you excited to start? I am. Let's get going. I have teaching guides first, and I want to show you how easy it is to paint on the teaching guide and wipe it off to practice a little bit before you get started. Now, I've got some berry wine. I've got all my favorite colors here. I've got berry wine and wicker white. I'm going to dip into these two colors on each corner. I'm going to work it in. Look how great that paint looks. It's water-based. It'll wipe off and wipe off until you're ready, and then when you're all ready and finished with your stroke, then it air dries for you, or you can even bake it in the oven if you want a tougher, more durable finish. Up and over, and then you do a U stroke, and so you practice on here, and all you do is you take a damp paper towel and you wipe it off and practice again. So it's like my teacher strokes right at home with you. It's going to make learning how to paint so much easier for you. Okay, let's start painting on our plate. And what we're going to do is we're going to take and paint a vine first around the outer edge of the plate, and we're going to paint rosebuds. So let's get going. We're going to pick up the yellow, white, and maybe even some green. Work it in. Now, when we're working it in, we're dipping. Oops, see, I picked it up on the wrong side. Doesn't matter. You go to a paper towel, and we just wipe it off on the paper towel, and then keep loading. Don't go in the water. Try not to go in the water as much as possible because we're using thick, creamy paint, and that's how you use the one-stroke technique really well, is that we blend, shade, and highlight as we're going. Soft bristles, okay? So you're going to push a little bit harder to get that on there in the paintbrush, okay? Now, what I want you to do is we're going to work on this edge of the brush, which is the chisel edge of the brush, and we're going to go around the brush, leading with the lighter color all the way around. And see how I'm kind of winding in and out as I'm coming around? We're doing this so that we can place other little vines and rosebuds and leaves around there. Now it gets thick sometime, that's okay, you don't have to worry about that. Some people feel like, oh, it's not thin. That's all right, we're gonna cover most of this. This is just for placement, okay? Now you see how I'm starting on the vine, crossing over, starting on the vine, crossing over. Now be careful with these bristles kind of, because they're soft and they slide sometimes, mostly not because they're soft, but mostly because we're on glass, okay? Now, then we can come in, we can use the same large brush if you want to, and let's pick a spot right here. Let's paint, let's put a V here, okay, see that V? And we're gonna take right here, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna wiggle, and we're gonna slide to a tip. 1, 2, 3, wiggle, and slide to the tip. And then pull our stem right into that. And then we're gonna make a full leaf. Now I'm gonna go around this piece and make a few of these, let me move this over here, a few of these larger leaves right here as we come around. Putting my V here helps me to keep those leaves, the strokes across. Let me pull it right here. Keeps the strokes separated from each other so that we don't overlap the leaf too much and we lose the shape. Okay, and then we just slide to the tip. Grab your stem. I like you to pull a stem right there while it's wet, because when you do that, it makes it look like it's gone into the center of the leaf, not laid on top. I think that looks a lot better. Now, what's usually happened with glass, painting on glass, is that if you go back to shade and highlight, what happens is that you're going to lift up the paint from underneath that you've got underneath. And the beautiful thing about this, about using one stroke with this glass paint, is that you don't have to go back and shade and highlight, because look, as I'm going, I'm putting all the paint on my brush and I'm doing it right as I'm going, okay? Now, pick up lots of paint. See how often I come up here to pick up paint, or I might just dip the two corners, because I want a lot of paint. Wiggle, slide. Now you notice I'm heading these leaves around going the same direction. If you're left-handed, you want to start this way and pull all these strokes towards your tummy, back towards your body, and it makes it easier for you. It actually made it easier for me then too, okay? Now let's go and pick up our number 12 and load this brush the same way we loaded before. Dip, dip, work it in. And now I want to fill in with some little one-stroke leaves, because I'm going to put the rosebuds on top. Push, turn, lift. All right, pull our stem. Now let's do it again. Push, turn, lift. Now I want you to see what's happening. I want you to think about what I'm saying. I'm saying push, turn, lift. And then watch this one more time. Touch, push down, turn the green towards the tip, and slide. Then you pull your stem in. We're not sliding and then turning, which will make the leaf not turn out very nice, okay? Remember, you lefties, just pull it towards you like this. It'll be easier to do that stroke also. All right, I keep picking up paint every time I'm off the screen here. Let me show you. Every time I'm off, I am going to get more paint, okay? So I want you to pick up a lot of paint and pick it up often. Push, turn, lift. Look how beautiful that turns out. All right, now, this brush and this paint works wonderful for non-porous surfaces, which is a lot of problem for some people who want to have a special piece to display. Now, I wouldn't serve on top of this. What I would do is I would use this underneath my glass plate, like so that you could show the painting through it. A little bit later, I'm going to show you, if you want to serve on a plate, to paint reverse painting on the back. All right, now look right here. We're going to do that here. Dip. I got too much white, so I'm come back. I'm going up and over, and then I'm making a U. Then I'm going to make another U, and then I just swish, swish. You like that? Swish, swish? That easy. Okay, let's move over here a little bit. We're going to go up and over. Then we're going to make a U. When I say we're making a U, you should be looking at the white edge of the brush, okay? Pick up more paint, and see, now I stroked over that a little bit too much. That's a good thing for me to show you. That'll happen sometime. See, it cracked a little bit because I kept stroking over the same spot trying to show that to you. Let me show you here. If you just do one stroke, that's what it's all about, one stroke painting. If you do one stroke and then pick up the next stroke and keep going, you won't have the problem, okay? There we go. All the way around. The thing I love about this technique is that you don't have to let anything dry, and I'm a mom of 7 children, let me tell you. I have no patience, so I don't like to have to let anything dry. All right, do this all the way around, and then, oops, look, remember, pick up the wrong color. Don't you love it when the teacher does the same thing as you do? All right, up and over, then we make a U. Now, those two lines are going to help you do that placement. I want you to be able to see it, but one thing that happens is that if you put the line to line on the two sides, you're going to be able to see which direction it goes. Sometimes I'll put little spots like that, and dot them all the way around so that I know where to come and do the strokes. And which direction. I take my fingers and go around the vine, and whichever way my fingers point is the way I want you to put those on there. Now we're going to do our scruffy brush, and I think what you're going to love about this is my beginner's favorite brush. All right, and even some of us who paint a long time, who are experienced, we realized that this brush will cover a multitude of sins. All right, we're going to pounce two colors on here, and we get to cover anything on here that we don't like. So I've got like a lavender color here with white. All right, I've got two colors on the brush, see that? All right, and then I'm going to come here and then just pounce little pretty little bouquets of wisteria around. Now the key is that you want to see plenty of white. You don't want to pounce it till it's a one muddy color. Can y'all see all those different shades I put in there? And we're going to go all the way around, pouncing pretty little clusters. And when I get to the end, I tilt the brush and I just taper it off. All right, now my scruffy brush is softer too than some of the other scruffies that I have. There we go, it's designed just for this paint. All right, there we go, all the way around. So you can add more, you can add curly cues. Look, the beautiful thing is, like right there, I put my finger in it, no problem, we wipe it off and you can just go back and touch it up. Really simple, but I want you to see that it's not just clear glass. Look how pretty this is. There's the same design I did, and we did it on a big server, okay? Look at this, and this is ceramic. This is the white glass ceramic, and you can just do that same thing. Look at this, does that make a pretty setting with the two of them? But you want to put, you're going to put that, you can, I use this sometimes to hold a cake dish or something on top of it. Wouldn't that be pretty? Okay, there we go. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take and paint on a blue vase. Isn't this fun? I love painting on these blue vases, and you know, sometimes you get them for Valentine's and sometimes Mother's Day if you're really lucky. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pick up our number 12, and I want to show you. No, I'm not. I'm going to go put my leaf on first, I think, because then I'll show you how pretty this looks. Because believe it or not, even the big dark leaf will show really pretty on this blue surface, okay? Get lots of paint on my brush, and I'm just going to paint some things with you today and see how much fun you have. I like you to do what we're doing. We're just filling our table full of glass, and we're going to pick up one thing after another and just paint with you. There we go. See how pretty that looks on there? All right, the same leaf I showed you earlier, then you pull the stem into it. Now let's pick up paint again, corner to corner. Now watch this, 1, 2, 3, let's do it together. We wiggle, and then we slide to the tip. Now this is what's so important, is that when you do this 1, 2, 3, that you do your wiggling, and then you slide all the way up to the chisel, and then you pull your stem right into the middle. Okay, there we go. Now I'm gonna come on here and put one more leaf, and then we're gonna put our little clusters of flowers in here, and even put a little ribbon on here, okay? Remember, there's no mistakes. If you don't like something, we pick up fresh paint. I don't like the tip over here, how that turned out. I just clean it up by stroking right back over it and then go right into it, all right? Now we're gonna pick up, I want white, and I'm gonna put a little bit of yellow and do little white blossoms in here, all right? Now we're gonna do little teardrops all the way around. Doesn't bother me if it picks up a little bit of green, if it picks up a little bit of yellow on the outer edge. They're simple little strokes. And we're going right on top, stroke on top of stroke, right on top of the green. See, I didn't even let it dry. Over and over until we fill this little cluster with little white blossoms. And I think it looks amazing on the blue. All right? Remember, I take, and on a low heat oven, I won't heat up the oven. I'll fill a tray, like a baking dish, full baking pan, full of glassware as I paint it, and then in a cold oven. And then when I'm all through painting at the end of the night, I will turn on that oven on low heat, and it says it right on the paint bottle, everything you're supposed to do, and I'll leave it in the oven till the times that we have on there for you. And then you know what? I turn it off before I go to bed, let it cool down in the oven, and the next morning, believe it or not, it's all done. Okay, look at that. Now that's a quick little fast gift that you can do and run to the hospital with and give it to your friend. Make them smile, make you happy, or think about the memories. I love to keep some special ones. I've given some away as gifts, but then I kept some because I remembered where I got the base from. Look at that. Dotted it with the script liner, just little teeny yellow dots. Isn't that pretty? Look how great that looks on the blue. And look how it covers so well. Now, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna paint some little sweet peas and another little vine under this glass. And you can float water candles in here and all. Wouldn't that be pretty? All these are decorator pieces, but you know what? You don't have to go buy these pieces. Guess where I find all my pieces? I walk through my house and go, these are trash, something I'm ready to throw away to the trash, and I'm going to turn it into a treasure. And you know what? I've sold a lot of those pieces. I have fun doing that, finding something around the house that I can even take and put some, think about this, while you're learning how to paint, you're painting all these pieces. Painting all these pieces, you can earn some extra money, make gifts for your friends and your family, and you're learning a new technique while you're doing it. All right, let's go around this piece and let's put large brush again. We're going to put some little vines. Okay, we're going to pick up the green, light green, dark green. Okay, and we're going to go around the outer edge. Okay, all the way around. Just like I did with the plate, it makes it really easy. See that? My little finger, I'm leading with the lighter color. Can you see that up on the edge? If I'm leading with the lighter color, I'm tipping the brush back. And you know what I'd like to use in front of me sometime when I'm at my dining room table, because that's where I painted most of my life, is at my dining room table. I like to put one of those little plastic spice racks that have a little turntable in it, a Lazy Susan, and I just turn it around, and then you don't even have to touch, like I'm having to touch all these pieces. You don't even have to do that as you're going around. Okay, now see all the vines, head on the vine and go off of the vine, heading the same direction. Please don't have the vines coming straight out like that. It doesn't look good, okay? Take it along the vine. I've got getting paint everywhere here. Then I'm gonna come back and I'm just gonna put a few little green leaves around here. All right, small little green leaves all the way around. Push, turn left, pull the stem into it, all the way around here. And then we're going to do this cute little sweet pea blossom. More paint, see, I didn't like it, I just put more paint. See how that light, fresh green color, look how great that looks. I might like to do 3 leaves, pull a stem. Doesn't that look real natural when you do that? Okay. Now, you could take and sometimes I like to come in and see, I'm going to put a white leaf every so often. See how that will change the look? Look, I'll just put a white leaf there. That's a design thing. It could be a pink leaf. You can come in with some pink and decide every once in a while I'm going to run some pink through the leaf. Isn't that pretty? Just leaves alone will make a really pretty piece, and it'll go in a lot more places, and you can change the season by whatever flower candle you float inside that. Okay? Isn't that fun? Now all you're going to do to that piece, let's come back and put the sweet peas in. All right? So same brush, number 12. We're going to pick up some lavender and some white. And this is a fun little stroke I think you're going to like. We're going to pick up these 2 colors. I might have to get some more white here. Wait a minute. There we go. Let's get some more white out. All right. And I've got excess water on here. There we go. Pick up the 2 colors on our flat brush. Now remember, you can paint on any size surface, and you can go from a number 2 flat all the way up to the largest flat that we have. And whatever size project you're doing, you can shrink or enlarge any pattern. Depends on what size you're working on. And I like you to use the largest brush that's comfortable for you to do that stroke, because the larger the stroke, the better it looks. All right, we're going to wiggle now. Watch the white. Wiggle out, slide in. See that? Now let's put another stroke on top of that. Look at this. We wiggle out, in, out, in, out, in. There we go. All right, then you can chisel edge in, and finish that up. Isn't that kind of pretty? Now let's do a couple more. Smaller ones, okay? And then you could just chisel edge those as we're going around. And then maybe even a smaller one coming off of that. All right? Now I would go back at the end and take some dark green. Just grab the little blossom right there and pull the stem back. Okay, so it's attached. Doesn't that look good? Same thing, you want to grab each one of those pieces so they look like they're attached. Now, I might do it a little bit more white, not so lavender. Watch the outer edge. Okay, make sure you have lots of paint on here. Look how much paint. Ton of paint on that brush, okay? Real important. All right, and it's fun. Remember what I said. Think about how much fun it is to practice on glass. And you know what everybody always says? Oh my gosh, what do you use to paint on that glass? You're going to love it because a lot of people don't know what to paint with. And you're going to be special because you've been able to customize it for somebody special and be able to paint on the glass with a really good paint that's going to last for you. Isn't that great? And it looks just like most people's favorite paint, FolkArt. Look at that. And I love it because it's opaque. All right, now there's your sweet peas. That looked pretty fun and simple, didn't it? All right, now I'm going to paint some little daisies on a ceramic piece. Look at that. Now I love it because you can find all kinds of little pieces like this everywhere, even at the little discount stores. All right, so I'm going to pick up and the white and the berry wine color, and I'm going to use the same brush, the number 12, and I'm going to do some little daisies. How about some big daisies? Do some big daisies here. Touch, lean towards the center, pull. Touch, lean, pull, touch, lean, pull. Now, what's important is that you get the streaks in there. Do you see those streaks? We want to make sure that we get all those streaks so you see shading. And it looks so much prettier that way, all right? Now, you can go back into the center of this and add a second layer if you want. Like even let's pick up some yellow here, some berry wine and some yellow. Let's come back in here and do a center stroke. Look how pretty that looks right into the center there. All right. This is a really good beginner stroke, and this is really fun for you to sit down and maybe even do for family night with your kids, because my teenage girls absolutely loved painting these little daisies all over little pieces and give them away. Look at that. And you know what a fun thing to paint on is for the kids is I love to use those old pieces of ceramic tile that you didn't finish, you didn't use them all when you were installing your tile. And you can paint on these little ceramic pieces and make little trivets. Isn't that fun? There we go. Make little trivets and give them away to their grandma and their school teachers. Okay? Now you just take the handle of the brush and you're going to dip, dot, these little strokes, these little dots right here for accent. Isn't that looking cute? It's real simple though. It's real simple. And then we come in with our smaller flat brush. Let's use a number 6 here. And let's put some little green leaves, all right? I'm going to use that bright green we were using earlier because I think that green will look really pretty with this, and just a little bit of darker green. And let's put some little strokes in here. Oops, I got a little bit too much. That's a miracle. Too much paint. Push, turn, lift. Push, turn, lift. All right. Pull it in. Push, turn, lift. Push, turn, lift. Pull it in. So see how cute that's starting to turn out? Now I'm going to make all kinds of little leaves extending this little design out all the way around. All the way around. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to put cute little butterflies in here. And we're going to use the same little brush I'm using here. Now remember, if it's a piece that you don't know if you want to put in the oven, you can air dry this too. Makes it really nice because you can just sit and let it dry. Just like that. Isn't that looking cute? I love that. Especially with a little handle. My grandmother would love that. All right, now we're going to pick up some lavender and white. Can be yellow even for your little butterflies. Okay. Now let me show you. I've got a mess going here. I want to show you it's better. What's better is to load it all purple or all white, either way, when you're using a smaller brush. And then you go right up to the second color and just side stroke into the second color. And it's going to be easier to do. Now what we're going to do is push, turn, lift. Does that kind of look like your one-stroke leaf? Okay, push, lift, right next to it, and then chisel, chisel, little daisy stroke. And we have a butterfly. You want to see that again? Everybody always says, one more time. All right, here we go. Push, lift. Now watch the placement. You've got to see that the body's going to go down that way. So what you want to do, you want to push, lift the second stroke right over that stroke. Now, you know what? That didn't show because I need to see a contrasted color. So I'm going to pick up more white and look. Stroke right back on top of that. See? So you can see it. Then we chisel, chisel, 2 little strokes at the bottom. Now let's put on the body. Now when we're doing this body, oops, I need some water. Okay. There we go. I still think I need more water. Let's do a little bit more. Got it too thick here. All right, roll your brush, pull it out of there. Okay, now we're gonna touch, lift, touch, lift, right there. And now you take the very tip of that brush and you do 2 little antennas. That's as long as you're not shaking. See my little fingers holding me steady? Touch, pull, just like that. Isn't that fun? Your little basket, you can even take and paint these little weaves, a basket along here, and some of the colors that you're using there, and have a fun little piece. You can also, when you get smaller leaves like that, you can come back with your script liner and put some of the little stems into it, all right, instead of using the chisel edge. Okay? All right. Now, we're on our marathon here to paint all of our glass. Isn't this fun? I'm having a good time. I hope you are. All right, here's a tall piece. Now, I've got tall designs for tall pieces. How about painting some poppies? We're going to paint some poppies, and then we're going to paint some irises and tulips. All of those, all of the above. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to do a pink poppy. All right? You can do red, pink, whatever color you choose. But same thing. I've got my paint running all over here. So I got to load those colors. And you know what? You might need a clean plate. Sometimes I do that too. I'll just come over to load on another plate when I've got all my colors running together, since we've got our marathon going here. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come out and do this poppy, wiggling out. I bet that looks like that sweet pea to you, doesn't it? That's exactly what it looks like. Okay. Then we're going to go here. Okay, then we're going to go here. And you're going to love this because this is slick, and the beautiful thing is that this has got the same sheen that your glass has. So it looks so pretty when it's all done. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put a center in here. They're brighter yellow. We're going to put a center in here, and we can have some green in that center. But if you want some of those petals to flip up on top of the other petals, all you do is put that center in before you put the bottom petals. So let's do one more like that. Picking up our berry wine and white again. All right. So I'm going to do another one over here. All right. These pieces sometimes are hard because you're thinking, what am I going to paint on that when it's tall like that? See, we're going to do that. And before I put the bottom ones, I'm going to flip those up kind of on top. I'm going to use my yellow, and I'm going to pounce in my center before. I'm just using my number 2 right there real quick. But you can use your little scruffy too. Pounce right, and come right in here. Put the green. And so I believe that if something's painted behind, something is behind, then you ought to go ahead and paint it behind because it just makes it easier instead of trying to make it look like it was behind afterwards, okay? Now, we're going to come right here, wiggle, watch the outer edge, remember, and then turn that brush up. So like the petals flipped up in front, okay? Wiggle, and then roll that petal up, right? There we go. Now, to make those look really pretty, we just need to come back with the stem, and I'm not going to use the large brush for the stem. I'm going to come back and use the number 12 again, all right? There we go. Lots of paint on here. Get your green and all. You're going to come right here at the bottom of that flower. Remember, look, this paint's so great. If you don't like what you've done, see, I just took my other finger and wiped it off. Pull it down. Pull this poppy down. And what I love about this is we have these big, ruffled, fun leaves. And that's kind of like the petal. See that? Let's do it again over here. All right, we're going to wiggle out, in, and slide to the tip. We start all strokes on the chisel, and we end them on the chisel. There we go. Right over here. Okay, and then sometimes you can just slide the other side. Isn't that pretty? And then we pull the stem right into it. And then every once in a while, you might just want to do just a one-stroke little leaf in there, or a big leaf, okay? There's our poppy. Now let's turn to the other side without messing this up, and let's paint a tulip over here. Now we can paint this tulip kind of yellow color. Let's do a bright yellow. I'm going to do a bright yellow with a little bit of white in here. Okay, so a lot of paint on the brush. We've got a little bit too much paint. Now what we're going to do is we're going to wiggle up and slide down. You see that? I've got a little bit of white, that berry wine's still in my brush. Right here. We're going to, watch this, 1, 2, 3. We're going to wiggle up, stand, and then slide back down. And that look pretty? Look at all that color. Now there are not a lot of colors, a lot of paint that you can make that happen on glass and get that great dimension. Look at this, and slide back down. There you go. And so I like to put some every once in a while. I would like to do some that are coming down. I'll slide those up, okay? Important that you get the variety of shading in there. Makes it look more realistic, isn't that fun? Pick up, just sometimes you just want to pick up fresh white and then slide back up. Now that practicing sliding back up sometimes is a little tricky, but I want you to concentrate on doing this. Let's do one more. Now see, you notice I'm lifting it up totally now because I don't want to mess up my poppies on the other side. And that's the only thing you have to concentrate on. That's why I like those spice racks, is so that you don't, the spice, Lazy Susan, so you don't have to touch the other side and you don't have to lay it down. Okay, now watch, wiggle up, raise to the chisel, push and slide down. That's what I want you to practice because that makes such a pretty petal. All right, now we do the same thing. We just come in here and add our stems and we have another piece finished. Do you believe that? There we go. All right, right here, we're going to pull the stems down. See their little strokes down like we did the daisy. And then you pull. See my little finger guiding me? Little strokes, pull. And then this gives, these leaves are long and skinny. So let me show you. Let's pick up lots of paint and let's do this. You touch, you push, you stand back up on the chisel and you lift. All right, now what if you want to turn this leaf? You're going to touch, push, stand up, roll the bristles, and slide back down. There you go. You can push, lift, and make it look like it's turning as it's standing up. All right, I don't know about you, but those are so fun. So I would put one more stem of another color right in here probably. Okay, there we go. Now, I want to paint something that's really fun. I love painting on stemware. And I paint dragonflies, I paint all kinds of fun things. But one of the favorite that people like is they always like to see a sunflower. So we're going to act like we are going to paint and put a real sunflower design on the bottom of the glass. So whenever you're using it, you can see it way at the bottom for decoration, okay? So I'm going to pounce 2 colors. I'm going to use my brown and my rust color, and I'm just going to pounce all the way around. Let's put it right here. Now what we're doing here is we're going to show you the beauty of one stroke is when we're pouncing this color, when we have wet paint here, and then we pull off our petals from this wet paint, it's going to be amazing that it blends shades and highlights in one stroke so nicely. Watch this. Push, turn, lift, push, turn, lift. And what's happening, do you see that? I've got yellow and gold. I'm doing one stroke leaves, and I'm pulling that rust into my sunflower petal. push, turn, lift. Now see, look what happens. The ones that I use more paint look so much better. And we do this all the way around. And I've done palm trees like this too. Isn't that fun? All the way around. Make sure that you have these nice tips all the way around. Okay, now look inside. Isn't that fun? You have a fun little sunflower all the way around on the glass. You pick up and fix any strokes that you don't like. Okay, and then I even come down and I will paint. Where's my brush here? Here's my green. I'll paint my stem green. You're going to love it because this paint just goes on so well. Put a little bit of yellow in here. Paint this all the way around if I want it brighter. Okay, and then on the bottom, what I do is just paint a few one-stroke leaves. Okay, make that stem nice and coated. There we go. All right, now on the bottom, we're going to pick up, I'm going to pick up school bus yellow and some nice green, and just do reverse what we did on top, just some big strokes of leaves. Can you see that? Push, turn, lift, push, turn, lift. Make sure you put some bright yellow in it, because that's going to make it so much prettier. All right, you don't want white with these leaves or mousy looking light yellow. You want darker green and you want bright yellow. Is that fun? Not a fun little piece? I think those are great little gifts too. People love those. Now we're filling up our area here. Look at this. Let's paint an iris for you. We're going to take this tall piece. There we go. And we're going to paint a big, fluffy, pretty iris. Where we are. Here we are. With our lavender and our white. Oops, I didn't wet my brush first. Make sure we do that. And then we're just working our paint. Okay, 2 colors, working it in. Lots of paint. Now let's see what we're doing here. Okay, we're going to ripple up to the top, ripple down. Okay, now we're going to pick up some more paint. We're going to slide up and then slide down. Remember what I was telling you? You got to practice that stroke. It's a wiggling up. So you wiggle up. Let me do it over here. There we go. You wiggle up. Let me get my hand out of the way. And then you slide back down. All right? Let's do those bottom strokes. Now on the bottom strokes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some yellow. Okay, see the yellow on my brush? I'm going to wiggle down. Oops. Beauty of one stroke is you go right back over it if you don't like it. See how I chisel down? I don't lift up. I slide up like that. Now, isn't that beautiful? I just think that's amazing, and it's glass paint. That is just so amazing. All right, now watch this. Wiggle up, wiggle down, hello. And then slide a little bit more, and then slide and turn the brush slightly so we come up. Isn't that pretty? Now you can get away with one of those, or you can paint them all different colors all the way around. But let's put our stem in here. I've got all my brushes in paint now. That's how much we painted. In water. That's how much we painted. Okay, let's pick up. I'm going to load this green. Watch this again. We're going to pick up a lot of green and work this in. Okay, pick up a lot of green, and I'm using up all my green. I'm going to have to get myself some more here. Okay, work it in. And say I don't want it that bright. I want to make it a little less bright. And you can take down the color of brightness by just adding a little bit of white instead of some bright, darker colors. See, there's the same stem again. You pull it straight down, okay? And then you push, stand up with a leaf. You can even have one here. Let's see if I can, roll it. Oops, no, I smeared it. Let's do it again. Remember what I said? You just wipe it off if you don't like it. Turn the brush. But I was able to save it. Look at that. Okay? Or did I? Maybe I want to go over that again. There we go. All right, isn't that great? Vivid, big, great. All right, another one I like to do a lot is I like to do stripes on this glass. And you know what? I took and filled an entire china cabinet with pieces like there was a chip on one of them, put a little candle inside of it, and made it into a votive, tied bows on the bottom. Or I had those big glass plates that we served salad a lot on, or little luncheons, and it got all scratched in the middle. Well, I painted this romantic setting and hung them all in this cupboard, and just for looks, and it was so fun. I loved it. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some striping. This is my favorite. We're going to take this green. Let's move all this out of the way. And we're going to pick up this soft green, and we're going to do like a plaid across the bottom. Okay? We do it one way, lots of paint on that brush, and then the second way. All right? Now, to make it look, I would do a script liner on here, but it's harder to get a straight edge, but you can get a straighter edge with the chisel edge of the brush. See that? Chisel edge. All right, turn this way, chisel edge, chisel edge. There you go. You have a fun little plaid. You can add a second color. Isn't that great? Now, that's fun and easy. Now, here's another one I like to do. I like to come around, and I touch the bottom, and I pull it straight up, and it doesn't matter where I quit. Now, watch this. You come about to right there, come around to right there, come around to right there, and you don't want it thin, okay? You want to make it thicker all the way around. There we go. All right, now I want to add just a little bit of green. All right, and we're going to come around and put a little vine. Sometimes I just pounce a little scruffy there. All right, all the way around, and then we do this. All right, all the way around. And then I will just come along here all around here and put some little leaves. All there. See how pretty that's looking? And then all we have to do is come back and put, remember that wisteria we did, or those little sweet peas we did? Isn't that fun? All the way around. And I like to do, that makes it really easy, and I don't have a scruffy here that's not wet probably, is pounce a little wisteria. Let me show you how to dry this. Oops, I can't sit it down anyway. I got paint everywhere. You pinch the ferrule, you fluff this up in the paper towel, and you get it all ready. See, I don't even have to wash all that off because I'm going to put the same colors in again. And I pounce the two colors. See right here? We're going to pounce white and purple. And then I am just going to turn this upside down and pounce little bits of wisteria all the way around. Now I do a glass pitcher or a craft, and give it together as a gift. Isn't that great? With the greens, the lavenders, and have a little wine container there. I think it's really fun. Okay, I have a little surprise for you, and that is that we're going to paint reverse painting. And we're going to do it, let's get our stuff all ready here. We're going to do it on glass plates, okay? On the back of the plate, and then we're going to put a plaid on top of it. But before I get started, let me show you what it's going to look like. It's going to look like this. Let's look at that real close. All this painting is on the back. And what happens is we have to paint our rows first, and then we have to put our leaves, and then we have to turn it over when that's totally done, and then we put the plaid on the back. But the beauty of this is that you can serve and everything right on top because all your pretty artwork's on the back. Now the thing is that when we're doing this is the one time that you need to really have a blow dryer with you, and you're going to blow dry between the steps. But I've done some steps in advance for you so that we can get ready to do this, and I want to show you how this happens, okay? I'm going to take, and then we'll go back and look at the finished piece again in a minute. Okay, I'm going to use some fresh paint here because I've got messes everywhere, okay? That's what my grandson tells me all the time, Mima, you make a mess, all right? All right, now I'm going to put out some of my berry wine and my white, and we're going to get going. The only thing that I always have to remember is that when I'm doing like rosebuds and we're going to put calyx around them, that we need to put that calyx on first and then paint the rosebud in it because the calyx are up in front over it. Now you have to start your mind process a little bit different because you're going to have to think of what would go closest and then work back. Usually I'm always painting what's back and work forward, okay? So it's really easy if you keep that concept in your mind. And it's okay because it's this glass paint, remember I told you you can wipe it off until it gets set exactly what you want and then you're ready to go. Now, what I want you to do, and it took a while to figure this out, so do step by step with me because what we've done is I wiped off a lot of pieces to get going. But I have a teaching guide for you that helps you do that and shows you step by step. And the beauty of it is that you can take and load your brush, load your brush, and you can practice your strokes right on the teaching guide and get that stroke down comfortably before you start painting it. If you're lefty, you would start where I say end and work this way, okay? Just like that. And then we're going to wipe it off with a paper towel, and then we start. And I think it makes a lot of difference when you're able to practice on the teacher's strokes and then do your strokes. It makes it easier. All right? So here's our piece, and we're going to flip it over. And what we're going to do, what you can do is you can have a pattern and tape it right underneath so you're copying it. And you know what? We do that a lot. We've painted lots of hundreds and hundreds of pieces of glassware in my warehouse and have sold at retail for a lot of years. But you know, one of the things we do is that we put one of the pieces that we paint front-wise, which is a little bit, which, you know, like if it's on the top, I go ahead and paint on the top, flip it over, and then makes it easier for me to see a pattern. Do you see that? And then you're able to see right where to paint it. And sometimes that helps, makes it easier, okay? But I'm going to leave this off so I don't confuse you with what's underneath and what's going to be on top, okay? All right, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to start right here. Actually, let me pull that piece back over here because I want you to see what we're going to do. When we're painting the first piece here, this stroke, these three strokes are in front of the rosebud. All right, so these three strokes go on first. All right, so, and it shows you right on our guides how to do that. We touch, we lean out, and we cross across. Okay, can you see that? There we go. Touch, lean over, cross across. Now, I think the most important thing about reverse painting is that you need to use real vivid paint so it really shows, okay? So right here, we would just slide across here. Okay, now this is what I've done on the smaller plate. I want you to see right there, and I've got it all dry, ready. I took a blow dryer, blow dried it. I'm ready to go with my second step. All right, I'm going to pick up fresh paint every time, really nice, clean, fresh paint. Now this is what I'm going to do. The front part of the rosebud goes next, so you're going to do a U. All right. Right on top of there. You're going to blow dry that each step, okay? Blow dry that step, and then we're going to come here, and as you can see, I stroked on top of it with the upper stroke. All right, so it's reversed. It's coming towards me. Now I blew dry this, and I'm ready to start putting my layers for you. Okay, now I can't do my rosebuds because I thought, wouldn't it be easy to go ahead and put your rosebuds, because what do we have to put? We have to put our calyx. So let me go ahead and put a calyx, actually. We're going to use our green and our yellow. And it can be drying a little bit while I'm painting our rose for you, okay? So what I'm going to do is, look at this. I'm going to do my calyx around here. All right, let me show you how to do that. Okay, right here, touch, lean, lift, and pull the stem in the middle. Okay, so that's the entire calyx. Ready to go before, oops, I don't want to put this because the rose goes there. Okay, now I'm going to go all the way around here and paint my inside layer of petals all the way around. Okay, all the way around, all the way around. Now I have to blow dry that and do my second layer. And we go right over that first layer with the second layer. After you're sure that other layer is dry. It takes a little bit more time, but the results are amazing, guys, when you're all done. All right, all the way around. All right, so that's all done. Let's pretend these calyx are totally dry, and we're going to do the, remember, we're going to do the U. I almost forgot. See, we do the U, and then we let that, we blow dry that, and then we put on the upper stroke right on top of it. All right, now all we do, let me grab my other plate real quick over here. This is one I just finished right before we started today, and I painted all those leaves I showed you earlier all the way around. So it's totally reversed. Now, what we want to do is to get this look, we're going to paint all the green on the back side after it was painted, okay? So it's pretty easy if you see the steps. It's just when you're starting out, you're like, I don't know about this. And when it's all done, it's amazing. All right, here's the light green. It's amazing and an incredible gift. And just remember, if you personalize it to the people, to your friends' colors or your loved ones' colors that you're giving it to, or if you even put their name on it, it even makes it even better. Okay, so we get lots of paint on our brush. And to get this plaid, you're gonna go, I'm gonna hold this right in front of me, right like this. Can you see that? That's what I want you to do. And I want you to do one right, we have a ridge here, so you have to deal with your ridge. Right straight in the center, right on top. Okay? All the way across. And you know what? If you have a shaky hand, sometimes, you know, a lot of us do, all you do is let it be wavy plaid instead of a smooth plaid. No big deal, okay? Like, I'm not really straight there, that's not gonna show because it's behind. It might be even easier to go straight here and then come down with this ridge that we're dealing with here. Okay? Come right here, touch. Now that's how I start. I get the exact square like a package. Okay, now you're gonna come back in here and do another piece. See this? Across here and back down. This is the only trick here is this little ridge that we're dealing with. Okay, do it on the other side. And remember what we did when we were working with the glass where we used the chisel edge? Well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use the chisel edge of this brush to get those fine little lines, okay? Cross it this way. This is a big plate, but I think you're getting the point. It's very simple strokes. Crossing across, it doesn't even have to be perfect like I told you. And then what you're gonna do after you get all those across is you're gonna stand up on the chisel, look at this, right up on the chisel of this brush, and on one or both sides of this plaid, the big stripe, you're gonna come with a thin stripe. Okay, just like that. Both ways, you go all one way first, okay? And then you're gonna cross the other way. But if I go on the right side of the stripe, I stay on the right side of the stripe both directions, okay? Like this. Now look when it's all done. There we go. Isn't that great? And I love, see the lighter green with the contrast with a big, bold, pretty design in the center. And you can just do the whole border on the outside and just do the plaid in the center. If you have ridges, actually, that's a good idea. So you can have the whole rose design and just plaid up the middle like we did on our rose before. Look at this, just like that. And you could just put the plaid right in the middle and plaid the bottom of that right in the middle. Because what we do, and we also put little butterflies here and then plaid underneath. And so the butterflies are showing on top of the plaid. That's some of my other designs that we market out there. Isn't that fun? Now, we have a few minutes left, and I want to show you something that's like something I really, truly love, and that's painting on glass ornaments. And I've had people for years saying, what do I put on it? What do I spray with it? How do I make it happen? And I'm going to show you how quick and easy you can paint on these ornaments and have a great Christmas tree decoration or a package topping or something for somebody who, you know, these are always great for taking the school teachers because they're inexpensive and easy to do. All right, school teachers or people at work, all right? Now, there's a couple little designs I like. I like to take and make holly, all right? Can you see that? Now, watch how we're doing this. We push, lift, push, lift, push, lift, slide, all right? And then we pull the stem into it. Can we see that? We can even reverse it. Let me reverse it a little bit so that we see it a little bit better. There we go. You can pick up, this is the same stroke you do for poinsettias. Look at this. Just like that, the same move. I don't like this side. I'm going to stroke over that. Then I'm going to pull a stem. All right? Then you can take and put pine needles. Look how easy those are. Little teeny chisel edge strokes on the edge of the brush. Both ways. There we go. Now, do you believe we painted all these pieces? Isn't that fun? All these pieces with this great new paint, easy brushes. We try to make everything easy for you when you want to create so that you have time to create and enjoy and not feel like, oh my gosh, that's going to take so much time by the time I find everything I need. Look at that. Isn't that just fun? And I like to come in with a little string bow. You know how I said we could come in with a string bow before? You can even make it inky, okay? And come right in here and make little holiday wrapping on here. If you want to put a little bit of white in it, that looks good too. See that? A little bit of white in the bow. All right. And there we go. Isn't that fun? And those are very simple strokes. It's easy, easy, easy to do. Let's put this one up. And let me show you this one. Now, this is one I thought would be kind of fun. This is a good way I want you to think. Cute little jars. We've got little jars with rubber canister tops. All kinds of fun little jars to do. Well, I thought if you have your kids sit and pounce the bottom like snow. Like that. Would this be fun and quick? Okay. Pretty easy, right? All right, then we're going to come back and we're going to make little evergreens. And they can do this. They're going to love this. You're going to take and you're going to make your tree stalk, and then you're going to come from there and make little teeny strokes coming down. All the way down. Can we see that? All the way down. There we go. All the way around. And you know what's really fun? You can make tall ones, short ones. You can put little ornaments on them. And all you do with your ornaments is that you can take these little and dot it just like that. Wouldn't that be fun? Or you can take the end of your brush and dot snow all around the top. But I think, if you did those all the way around, they'd be the cutest little gift with a little bow tied at the top, right? So, was that fun? Look at all the pieces we painted. Oh my gosh. This is what I was talking. This would be great with Christmas, full of candies. Wouldn't you love that? All right, well, I had fun. I hope you did. We have lots of colors for you to pick from. We have lots of brushes for you to paint with, and you have lots of glass out there in the world to paint on. Lots of non-porous surfaces. And you know what? I love painting. When I'm painting, I forget about all my woes, and I love decorating my home. And this is a beautiful way for you to pick up something and enrich your life and enrich somebody else's. But the best thing is I want you to have 1 hour a day at least. That's just for you. And I want you to think of a friend out there that could come paint with you, and that might even be a grandchild. But this is something that's really good for us to do because it's for us, and we're creating something and picking up a new talent. So hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for being here. Bye.
Plaid Enterprises Incorporated. Our quality paints, stencils, and other tools will make your next project so beautiful, so easy, so plaid.